Ladies and gentlemen, we are live over
Let's
on
go.
YouTube. So, for those of you over on TikTok, if you would like to join us over on YouTube, you can join us over on YouTube. Now, I will not be directly addressing you all, as my attention will be on Brother Dion. I
Definitely.
will glance over periodically just in case anyone has anything to add to the conversation. But I would encourage you to pull up to my YouTube Anthony Highland, Hyland, and you can pull on up. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section of the stream, and we'd be able to get to them live. So, Mr. Dion,
What
Brother
is what is
Dion,
up, man? What's
nice to
up?
finally be able to see you face to face, man. This brother,
Definitely.
man, he gave me some energy yesterday, boy. I was
Yeah.
needing it,
Yeah, man.
needing it.
Yeah,
So,
man.
first and foremost, thank you for joining the stream. I definitely appreciate you. Um, let's do a little bit of background. They already know who I am. You know what I mean? So, just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Got you. Dion Dawson. I'm here in Chicago, Illinois. I am the founder and executive director of DionChicagoDream, which is a nonprofit that's tackling food insecurity. We're not even a year old yet. We've already eclipsed over 13,000 pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables. We have our Project Dream Fridge, which is our fridge we're stocking every day with brand new fruits and vegetables. But now we basically stumbled upon Dream Deliveries, which is like HelloFresh, but it's brand new and it's totally free to Inglewood residents. So we're already at 75 homes, and we already, I mean, it's just poised to just like change the entire trajectory of fighting food insecurity. Because I mean, me being a having a homeless childhood, I kind of know what it feels like.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I genuinely appreciate it. Now, my brother, you familiar with T Nathan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he does a lot of work with those that just so happen to be homeless in terms of making them meals and such.
Yes.
And I did invite him, so if he pulls up, I'll bring him up on stream as well.
Definitely.
However, so for those of you that don't know, I have a lot of respect for this brother. We connected, here on TikTok, and we talked about collabing and figuring out what it is that we wanted to do. And then we finally settled on gifting some families, with what we call a random act of kindness,
Yeah.
to whereby, this brother donated $1,000, and we were able to bless some families. One young lady, single mother, we gave half the entire lump sum. Well, not
Yep.
the entire lump sum, half of the lump sum. And then we gifted other individuals along the way. One thing that I respect about this brother, man, is that he's consistent. You have a lot of people who say they're out in the community. You have a lot of people who, say what they would do, but this brother is actually out there doing it. I've been an activist for a little over 13 years, coming up on 14, marches, protests, all that. You can check my background. This brother is out here killing the game. And I definitely believe that this brother deserves a platform. And sometimes what happens is, those of us that have larger platforms, we have this idea that if I put someone else on, it's going to take away from me. When the reality is that we should be figuring out, instead of butting heads, how best can we come together and
Yep.
form meaningful partnerships to whereby we can do meaningful projects.
Definitely.
That's definitely one of the first, and definitely won't be one of the last times we work together. I definitely, at some point, I need to get up to Chicago.
Easy.
My wife's best friend lives in Chicago, so we definitely got to get on out there.
Definitely.
So we're definitely gonna get that popping. So let's delve a little bit deeper. What got you into what got you essentially passionate about this specific topic?
Gotcha. I am Chicago South Side, Inglewood, born and raised. One of the most difficult areas in the country.
Indeed.
And my mom struggled with substance abuse for years. I'm the youngest of four boys, and in spite of all the violence in Chicago, especially on the South Side, all of her boys are still alive. And even after, this is before I joined the Navy, was in the Navy and got out, and we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. But
definitely. Thank you for your service, bro.
Likewise, man. And when I was without, and that's my German Shepherd. So any type of thing that drives by. When I was homeless, I don't have memories like the normal child. I don't have the memories, and I'm not saying I don't have good memories, but
Right.
the things that stand out to me are the emotional moments, the moments that mentally and emotionally stick with me. And so I made sure that I remembered what it felt like to be hungry. And so here I am, post Navy, going through all these jobs and all this stuff. And as a black man, my skill set wasn't respected. But here I am with this amazing gift, and I said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And Bryson, okay, go out, go ask your mom to open it. Okay, she's in the bathroom. In the room. Yes. Thank you. Close the door. And he's off. Okay. And so pretty much after I sat back, you know, Juneteenth last year, that's when everybody was like, what are you gonna do? You know, it had this renewed importance. And I didn't know the entire history around Juneteenth. So I learned a little bit, and then I found a few people that I gave life to and I spoke life into, just asking me questions like, okay, well, what are you gonna do? And so I said, well, you know what, we're gonna feed 100 families. And did a GoFundMe, and in 26 hours, we raised $2,500. And
wow.
Oh yeah, I went crazy, man. I'm gonna tell you this, like we'll touch on that, but I'm gonna let you know, like that consistency, you know, that people see, it's every day. I hold everybody accountable. When people was dropping thirst traps, everybody else trying to flirt, I'm dropping, hey, I need you to donate to this GoFundMe. And people, like I'm man, I was pulling up on people virtually. So after that, here comes June 3rd. Oh no, it's Juneteenth, and we feed 96 families. And it was so stressful, but it was the greatest day of my life. I had I'm talking about, and for me, it was amazing because we gave away just nothing but just high quality. We gave away steaks and chicken and all. It was amazing.
Wow.
And so a lot of people don't know that after that, I was approached with a chance. Hold on one moment. Hold on. Yo. I'm recording.
Listen, y'all. Listen, parenting don't stop just because you're on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Don't stop. Let's get it.
So a lot of people don't know I was approached with a check for $30,000, and I couldn't take it because I wasn't legal. And at that moment, I never forget. I was at home with my wife, and you know, I just was sitting in bed, and it bugged me. And so I knew, I said, I have to make a decision. I'm not a halfway in type person. I'm passionate. I love what I do. And for me, I love helping people. I've always done it, and I always give my all. So I said,
so when you say you weren't legal, you mean you didn't have a legal business?
Yes,
you were just doing this off the muscle.
Off the muscle. Yeah, nothing was legalized. I didn't have a name. I didn't have any idea I was going to do this. And after that, the only thing I said was, if I do this, will my network support me again after just raising $2,500? And I said, oh hell yeah, they will. And I started another GoFundMe, and in 2 weeks we raised $1,500, and I totally legalized it. Now now, and I know we kind of, you know, I jumped from, you know, specifically that, but I think the story is important.
No, it's all good.
From there, we were incorporated on August 10th last year, and I went the fuck ham. I said, a lot of people don't know, from July 3rd all the way up until September, like the second week in September, I was up at 4 a.m. every single day. I said, nobody's gonna outwork me because this is my passion. And so,
yes, sir.
You know, I'm working, I'm learning, and I'm also looking at everything about philanthropy, about what I don't like about it. So for me, I don't like people waiting outside. You will never see me allow anybody to wait outside anymore, because I don't think it's fair that people who already go without have to wait 6 hours in a line just to get a box, and half of the stuff in the box they don't like. So my wheel is always turning to really focus on what is that root issue, and the root issue is food insecurity. But the answer to it is security, and security means consistency, and security means a commitment to quality. And so for me, I tell everybody, and when I first started this, I lost a lot of money not going the traditional route, but I said, I will never in my life offer a piece of used produce. Not one. We're not taking imperfect produce. We're not taking stuff that's almost bad, but it's still good. every single piece of produce that we've given, and as an organization, it's 100% brand new.
Wow.
And
That's
so,
different.
because when you look at imperfect foods, when you look at charity in our communities of color, it's always synonymous to us and not the collective problem. When you think
Right.
of imperfect produce, you think of communities of color. When you think of food insecurity, you think of the problem as a whole. I don't like that. And so I said, when you look at the history of our organization and this fight, have there been people who've been doing it longer than me? Yes. Do I care? Not at all. You want me to tell you why? Because if their heart is in it for the right reason, they'll only see me as an ally.
Right.
That is it. The ones that don't, then your heart not in it the right way anyway, because you shouldn't see me as a problem. You should see me as a solution. You should see me as a brother. And so that's,
Right.
from there, we took off. And then I'll never forget, right after we got incorporated, I was sitting in bed, scrolling on Instagram, and I told my wife, I said, man, I need that thing that will start the conversation, but also will keep me in the community every day. Because other nonprofits aren't out there. They have 4 events a year. They disappear, but then they're bringing in $400,000 or $500,000. But then what they're doing is, and this is for everybody. Let me break down or give you a peek behind the veil. When it comes to nonprofits, you're categorized by what you bring in, not by what you keep. So if you're a $500,000 nonprofit, you have $300,000 or $400,000 going towards your bills and your salaries, and then you have another $50,000 going towards something else, then that only leaves $50,000 that you potentially could turn around and give to the people. And 9 times out of 10, they're not even doing that. And so what happens is they go to another nonprofit, repurposes those offerings, and say that they provided them access to that. So nonprofit
Wow.
A says that they provided access to job readiness training, but that was really what nonprofit B offered. They're just giving people access to it, and then they're pocketing the money. And I'm okay with people getting paid what they're owed, but if you go into a room and we talk about solving a problem,
Right.
it should not take long before money come up. If money don't come up as leaders of organizations and leaders of the community, then why are we avoiding it? And so I don't avoid that problem. I don't avoid that topic because I think it's very, very vital to what we're trying to build for our people. We have to commit to quality, not just in our movement. We have to commit to quality in what we're offering. We have to commit to quality in our relationship building, and we have to have integrity. And for me, when I was in the Navy, it wasn't necessarily all about honor, courage, and commitment, but I was familiar with that ethos. And so now when I'm in what I love, honor, courage, and commitment is very, very easy to prescribe to.
Wow, that's amazing. I want to get back to a point that you made, and I think this is very vitally important that we highlight this.
Talk to me.
You said that for those that are genuinely in it with the with the right heart, that genuinely are about the cause, they should see you as an ally.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And not necessarily as competition.
Yes.
And sometimes when we get to that place within our careers or our backgrounds or our organizations, sometimes we look at them, and I wanted to reiterate something that I said earlier. Putting someone else on or in a position to win should be a standard. Easy. It shouldn't be, oh, I'm looking at what you're doing, and I'm like, oh man, well, if I put him, if I give him access to my platform, then I'm not really gonna. Now, another thing that you said is I'm all about people getting paid what they owe.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If you are owed something, 100%, I definitely want you to get paid. You know what I mean? What you owe. But at the end of the day, we have to also be able to come together and say, you know what? How best can we work together? How best can we utilize our platforms? There are times where, even for me in my public speaking journey, right? I'm coming up on about 10 years speaking professionally. And there are times where I will go to an event knowing that I'm not getting paid. But I'll go to that event knowing that I'm not getting paid because I chose that instead of someone pigeonholing me and forcing me to do that. So whereby now, after I speak, I know because of the value that I'm going to bring, that I'm going to secure other opportunities. Now let's go beyond that. In securing those other opportunities, right, or the inquiry of another opportunity, sometimes it's not best suited for me. Sometimes we got to realize when certain things are just not for us, to whereby I can say, hey, I might not be able to profit off of that in terms of bringing value. So I can connect you to someone that can.
But you know what? But when you speak of that, I don't think and this is everybody. This is not black. This is not white. You know, this is everybody. We don't put enough value in what we surround ourselves with.
True.
And so for me, when I reached out to you, it was twofold. Number one, because of respect, because I see what you're doing, and I love it so much. I have to have it in my ecosystem. I have to have it just around what I'm doing because of where I'm headed and what can only be around me. But then I take it a step further because you're missing somebody like me because of the value that I'm bringing. Not professionally, but personally. Because I love and I lead with love. But when I tell you that I was born with that Morgan Freeman gene, when I tell you that we could be down 20 in the fourth quarter and you look at me and I don't shake, it is not a game at all.
Facts.
And so for me, we have to be protected enough to think like that, because so many of our people are in a position to pursue their passions. And so for me, and I know that you feel like this because I think all of us go through it. The first step is appreciating where we are, appreciating that we found what we love. And the very next fucking feeling is feeling bad that don't nobody else feel like us.
That's so real. That's so real.
Because we feel like, and I tell people, regardless of, you know, what people think about Steve Jobs and Kanye and all these people, you understand that strain of thought when you stumble upon your purpose. And when you stumble upon your purpose and you're working and you're loving that purpose, everything feels different. I'm operating on such a different wavelength that I don't allow my mind to go lower just to feel comfortable. I accept the fact that the unknown is the part of living. That's what keeps us alive. I tell people, I fully untapped everything about this life and I went for it when I realized that life is journey based, not destination based. The only destination is death. That is the only destination. And so the problem is people focus on certain false destinations so that when they get there, they think that they're there, and it's not. It's an ever-evolving and ever-moving journey. And so for me, because I know that my heart and my journey won't stop until I'm dead, I'm okay with not knowing, because that only means that if I get one spade out of 13 cards, you're going to think I got 7, and I'm going to be getting it in with all clubs.
Facts. Big facts. And it's the mentality that comes along with that.
Yeah.
It's the grind and the commitment. And I always preach commitment and consistency, because when you're committed and consistent, there's a quote that comes to mind. It says, "Get on fire with enthusiasm, and people will come from miles around to watch you burn."
Yeah. So
when you're consistently saying, "Hey, listen, like you said, I'm pulling up on you. Hey, I see you posting them thirst traps. Hey, come get thirsty for this community service."
Yep.
You know what I mean? Come eliminate the thirst of a family.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You find ways to start marketing and ingraining it into what you already do. And it's so impactful. It's so impactful. And we miss out on that because we have this mindset that, you know, and I like the fact that you hit the nail right on the head. There are specific things that are specific to certain communities, but as it relates to humanity, this is a humane issue. This is not something that's just exclusive to one community. It may be this community in this city is, down, or this community in this city. No. Hey, listen, I'm trying to serve everybody. Yeah. And when I'm serving the world, when I know I'm providing a quality service and I have a quality brand, a quality business, a quality goal, it's nothing that people can do. Oh, I think T. Nathan just pulled up. Oh, there we go. Let me add him on.
What's up? Greetings,
Salutations.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, man?
I'm gonna forgive you for having the last name Dawson. Okay, let's get him moving.
I was just talking with Dion, and I let him know that and I'm sure he sees the stuff that you've been doing on TikTok with those that happen to be homeless, and the work that he does out in Chicago as well. So I wanted to open up this as an opportunity because, and to me, T. Nathan's like the big bro, So I said, like, he is the big bro. You know what I'm saying? And we're always having conversations about how best to collaborate, not just on the sense of the reality is that on TikTok you're gonna do one of two things: either you're gonna entertain or you're gonna educate. And if you're masterful at it, you'll be able to do both. You know what I mean?
Right.
So in this regard, when we start bringing people together, when we start bringing these platforms together, the question that I first ask myself is, what are we doing with these platforms? You know what I mean? Speaking truth to power, doing what we love, speaking our truth, providing a service to the community, right? Now, there's a thought that most people have that, And you know, sometimes I have to check myself in this regard because you just never know, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's not posted doesn't mean it's not happening. Give me a second, sweetheart.
Right.
It's raining.
Yeah.
Okay, good
Yeah.
job. Just
Yeah.
because it's not posted doesn't mean that it's not happening. So
Right.
sometimes, and let me hit this last point. And I got
Go ahead.
Dion. Sometimes just because it's not posted doesn't mean it's not happening. However, those that do post, and Dion kind of hit the nail on the head earlier, with great intention,
Yep.
that is where the divide comes in at versus those that are posting for validation, those that are posting for clout, or those that are posting just for the, you know, the idea of the social prestige of, hey, I've done something great.
Yeah.
Well, that's the standard. That's
Yeah.
the bare
Right.
minimum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Dion, go ahead.
Yeah, but not just that. You know what? And I think you have to approach it from a lot of different angles. The first step is building respect into how you operate. And so for me, everything that I post, because we're a nonprofit, but because I have committed to quality and I've committed to respecting and loving everybody, anything that I post will always be of that. I tell people when it comes to my videos, the things that I love about, you know, you both and what I took from you both is consistency. I knew that, okay, I would meet you guys. But when I met you, in order to stand on that same stage as you guys, I got to make sure that that consistency and that respect is always there. So when you did your homework, when I reached out, you saw that I'm there every day. And not just every day, but I also give myself to be creative, to be entertaining, and to educate and respect. And so as long as it's ingrained into your process, you can never go wrong. A lot of people tried to tear me, well, a few people tried to tear me down because I post so often, but I know what it feels to go without. When I saw my mom go through substance abuse and we stand in a line for 7 hours to get a food box, and we see the workers who are actively giving out, put all the good stuff in their trunk, and they give us all of the leftovers and the scraps. I couldn't understand it as a kid, but I kept it with me. Why? Because number one, I told you I'll never have people waiting for food. That's why with dream deliveries, we go to their homes. Because people think that only the people who are starving are the people outside. No, you have people who are starving in their homes. What we do is we try not to go outside too much because we already know that if we stay home, we can deal with it. If you go outside, it adds more unknown to that struggle. So that's what we do. But when it comes to how I operate, I don't think about it no more. Why? Because I'm so focused with my energy and my intent and my passion on solving this problem of food insecurity. I don't have time to think about who and what is not for me. I don't think outside my scope. My scope is here. My scope is to change the trajectory and make history when it comes to what? A problem. What is a problem? Food insecurity. How are we solving it? Rehumanizing the process, transparent operations, making sure that every time somebody wants to feel good and feel included, we make them feel included. When I get emails and when I get messages, I make sure I tell people I love them. When I get emails and people say, well, I only have $5, I make sure I respond right there. And I say, can I call you? Literally. People I've never met before, I say, can I call you? And I call them, I say, listen to me. Thank you. Because your 5 might mean the world to you. And I say, you matter. Welcome to the Dream Team. What the Dream Team is a community of everybody. If we're at the beach, what the Dream Team and the Dream Teamers are is we're all the way at the end of the beach. And while everybody else is jumping in and surfing, and while everybody else is sunbathing, we're all the way at the end of the beach, and we're building a beautiful sandcastle. And what do people with that build sandcastles do? They don't build a sandcastle for themselves. They build a sandcastle so that the world can marvel at its beauty. We're building something beautiful for the world. And so when it comes to what you two gentlemen are doing, I don't have to waver or I don't have to soak when I'm in your presence because I know that I am moving with respect and I'm moving with passion and I'm moving with consistency so that when I meet you guys, I can stand shoulder to shoulder with my chest out saying, hey, this is what we're doing. And here's how we all can create this ecosystem of helping and loving and making sure that hate will not exist here. That's what hate, like people don't understand. You beat out hate by showing it that it will not thrive around you. And then they'll just be uncomfortable. That's it.
Right. See, Nathan, I want you to speak to that a little bit, and definitely love to connect you two. And if you're not already following each other, definitely take care of that. But I just want
Yeah.
you to kind of, I guess, give your perspective of the work that you've been doing.
Yeah, because first of all, I have a house in Chicago on Woodlawn, and I'm in Chicago often. Before the pandemic has
Of course.
precluded a lot of that, but I'm in Chicago often. I keep up with the politics in Chicago. You look at the videos, you'll see me protesting at the Dan Ryan when they closed it down, and in the communities there. The thing I want to address, I love that you brought up and you talk about food deserts, and you talk about how we are not reaching. I mean, it's dualistic. It's not even just dualistic. It's multi-layered. The work I do with those who happen to be homeless and the work we do feeding those who happen to be hungry overlap. Like you said,
Yep.
and I give you an example, like for Christmas. And Christmas and Thanksgiving last year, we had set up food pantries, and because of the pandemic and because of the unemployment thing, the food pantries were basically emptied at the churches, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not even taking into account a holiday meal. Yep. This is like people were going to the churches and be given food, and the food was running out. Pantries at the end of the year were running out. So of course I spend money and I do my part, but I found also that we have to also understand that there are other ways to get food besides going to the church. I went to the Buddhist temple here, right? The Buddhist temple has a food pantry, and it was filled to overflowing because people in their small thinking did not want to visit the Asian community's Buddhist temple, even though they were starving. And that goes to say about you when you're talking about how pride, when you're in the streets and you're on the street, it's really like, yes, you're homeless. It's something that but like you say, there are people that are in their homes, yep, and their pride will not allow them to go outside and ask for help. They will let her go to the church, and the church is systematically started to fail us anyway, just like party systems in this country.
That's a whole nother
conversation. You got a building fund with $2.5 million in it, but you're not taking care of the people in your community that happen to be without food. And your church is in a food desert. Your church is in a food desert. That's a whole nother story. When I was trying to build a supermarket and the church was fighting me. But you get to that point, and we have to realize that and I say this all the time, it's not just in the struggle, but it's everything I've been doing for the past 400 years that has not worked. We need to throw it away. We don't need to try to fix what has not worked for us. We have to look and say, you know what we need to do? We need to build something that does work for us. And we need to use the past to determine what has not worked for us. The systemic, my idea, we should build a society on 4 principles anyway. And that is freedom from hunger, freedom to have shelter, universal education, and universal health care. Those should be the basis of our society. And then if you build that as the basis of your society, your government is obligated to fulfill those bases, not the other way around. So we have to also understand that these are our problems to solve. I don't believe, and one of the things I realized since I broke, and I'm a national member of the NAACP and national board member here and there, but I realized the more good I can do is with small groups of cells in my area that is dedicated to the problems in my area, because all our problems are intersectional, but they also have a component of regionality. And so we in our community understand those problems better than a national board will that's trying to administer to our communities. We need to start to operate in cells. I know it's burning you up, right?
No, you know so much. I'm trying not to be disrespectful. Man,
listen. So just to give a little bit of background, right? So when you all talk about, you have some people who think that you may have had to have that experience in order to feel connected to it. And it's like, this is a human issue. This is this is something that is like basic. I can remember, and just to give some context, I was homeless at one point. I know what it's like to be hungry, but I also know what it's like to change that. You know, even living, and when you mention, oh my God, I start going crazy. People that are living in their homes and still hungry. You know, my mom, God bless her heart, she's clean now, thank God.
Yeah.
But she had, her bouts in the past. And, we were in the house hungry. Open the refrigerator and you see cobwebs. Open the cabinets and you just hear crickets and roaches.
Of course.
but we decided to change that, right? So when I wrote my first book, I outlined what we decided to do. So my brothers and I got 5 brothers, no sisters. Wish I would have had a sister, but I digress.
4 boys.
We decided to go up to the local grocery store, right? And we strategically positioned ourselves to ask individuals to bag their bags. So we put the youngest kids closest to the door. Hey, ma'am. Hey, sir. Can I, walk you to the car, put your groceries in the car? This was before they started putting them at the ends of the aisles to whereby they bag your bags and then walk to the car with you. Then we put another person a little bit down, another person closer to the parking lot. One person, there was like a tunnel. We put a person right there at the front of the tunnel, and then we put someone in the parking lot. Hey, by the way, when you get back, or hey, do you need a cart? Something as simple as that. And then when they get back, oh, wow, I remember you. Boom. We were pulling in. And I can't remember the numbers right off the top of my head, but I know it was a decent amount. And I'm going to pull my book open because I definitely don't want to misrepresent the numbers. However, we were pulling in a sizable amount of income. But what we didn't realize at that time is that we were giving that money to my mother in order for her to, give me a second, in order for her to change our situation, right? Yep. In order for her to curve that hunger, right? Mm-hmm. So in that, here we go. We went from $5 to $10 turned into $60 to $80 per person per day. So let's do the math on both the high and the low scale. Working 5 days a week with 5 children minimum, $60 in a day would translate to about $300 a day, $1,500 a week, and $6,000 a month. But on a maximum scale, working 5 days a week with 5 children, making $80 a day, that would translate to about $400 a day, $2,000 a week, and $8,000 a month, right? Now, in that, what we didn't realize in the beginning is that she was utilizing that money to fund her habit.
Exactly.
And we were still hungry.
Yep.
So we said, you know what? We're still going to give her just a little bit, but we're going to put the maximum amount in getting that food, taking those carts down the street, putting that food into the home, and stocking those cabinets and refrigerators ourselves.
Yep.
So now when she comes downstairs to eat, because clearly she's high, she's hungry.
Yep.
I don't want you to be hungry too. It's like the selfless nature. We know what you're doing, but we still don't want you to be hungry. We still don't want you to be in the situation. So now whereby we get older, and that's why I tell people, money don't change people.
No.
It reveals who you truly are.
Who you truly are.
It reveals who you truly are. Because if
excuse me. Can you say that again? I needed that. I think that's on my divorce papers. What
does not change people. It reveals who you truly are.
And you want me to tell you what's funny? Right before I make my speak on what T. Nathan spoke about, it's funny you say that because last night when I visited my mom, she, my mom is with me every day, and she said, hey, we've been giving away money. You know what I mean? And we had the 1,000, and then we assisted 2 other within the last week or 2, we assisted 2 undocumented families who didn't have access to, any money. We helped them. And so my mom says to me, we've, spent a lot of money lately. And it's funny that Anthony said that, because I responded and I said, Mom, we have to do things different, which is what you spoke about, Tina. We have to do things different. But also, I gave that money because I am a firm believer, especially from being broke. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't understand is that, what they don't know is that even some videos I record, I don't have any money. I'm not even on salary yet. You know what I mean? But I also know money does not dictate how happy I am with life. So I don't have to worry about being sad. But I told her, I said, we have to get that muscle memory now, because if we don't give back, when we become $1 million organization, and do not get it misconstrued, within the first 7 months from the muscle, we already $150,000
win. That's what I love.
Exactly.
Not win.
Win. Yeah.
Right.
This is not even a question. Within the first 7 months, we're already $150,000 organization, and only 11% of that is grants. Everything else publicly funded. when we become a $1 million organization, if we don't have the muscle memory of giving people money when they need it, then when we get $1 million, if we haven't given $1, when they say we need 1,000, we're gonna balk at 1,000 as if it's a lot of money.
Yep.
But I decided, I said, we're gonna sow these seeds because we don't dictate what they do with it. We have to believe that people's basic, like, human instinct and their feeling of being good will come out. And even if it don't, they get another chance and another chance and another chance. You want me to tell you why? Because I'm not there to judge. But it's funny that T. Nathan, you spoke about that, because that is the direct result of why I created Dream Deliveries. When I created Dream Deliveries, and I'll share it with both of you gentlemen, like the overview of the program. But basically, I told Anthony the Dream Deliveries is like HelloFresh but free, and we're already in we're already in 75 households in Inglewood, and this is every week they're getting it. This is not no one-stop shop. Every week they're getting a 10 to 12 pound box of fruits and vegetables, totally fresh, totally brand new. When I got the assistant building it, the people who helped me said, you can't give this to them for free. I said, watch me. They said, you're only going to lose money. I said, no, we're not. I said, first and foremost, if my people are struggling, who am I to not believe somebody when they say they're hungry? And so now we canvass the entire neighborhood in Inglewood, and we already have a waiting list. So as funding opens up, we already have the households that we're going to start opening up to. And now, oh, by the way, Anthony, I didn't even post it yet, but we do have a delivery vehicle, and I hired 2 people Friday. So now, not only do we have a driver and a driver's assistant, but now we have an entire logistical picture of how we have a process of Dream Deliveries, which is not only feeding our people every time I get funding, but because of the wholesale premium grocer that believes in us, and they gave us an extremely generous set price, we can equip other nonprofits with a nutritional arm. They keep the data, and we have the delivery manifesto. So for $25 per box, now we know how much it costs to feed a family for the whole year, which is $1,300. So now any company out there, you come to us, you give us $1,300, you just funded an entire household of fruits and vegetables for a year. I know what it means to see stuff not work. And so why would I create an organization that turns around and does the same thing that everybody else is doing?
Right.
And so because of that, I believe so much in what we're doing and what we've set out to do, that no matter what, when you both interacted with our movement, you would be satisfied with what you found, because everything is out for the people to see.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback off that, because of the fact that it is important for you to lay the foundation and the groundwork for what your organization will be in the end at the beginning.
Yep.
If you're, like you said, the analogy you give about $1 or 1,000, I think we need to get away from this mentality that those people who happen to be homeless or happen to be hungry only deserve what we decide to give them. Yep. You need to understand that I had people, one week I gave out coffee and some power drinks. You know why? Because that's what I was asked for. And then this woman comes in on her high horse and tells me, you shouldn't have given them that. You should have gave them water. And you should have, not knowing that I give them water almost every day, because I take hundreds of bottles of water to the camps every day or every other day that they need it. But the idea is that we get these self-righteous people who believe that they're saving someone instead of assisting people in saving themselves. It's like, I want to get this mentality that it's like we talked about the Veterans Administration and how they deal with homeless vets. And they turn homeless vets away because they have a drug problem. Like all of a sudden, because you have a drug problem, you're not entitled to a house. A living condition. We have to change our mindsets in dealing with those who happen to be homeless and those who happen to be hungry. And then we will have a dynamic shift in our society. You look at Norway, you look at in Switzerland, you look at Sweden, you look at these countries that are ending homelessness. They're not ending drug problems. They're ending homelessness
Yep.
first. And we need to set in our mind that this is a solvable problem. I hear people talk about, oh, they're always going to be homeless people. You understand there always hasn't been homeless people? So if we can change our mindset and understand that we not to stop these defeatist attitudes that believe because, oh, 25,000 people died in a car accident this week, that sounds about right. No, that's crazy.
Yep.
Homelessness does not have to exist, especially in a country that wants to bill itself as the richest country in the world.
Yep.
It is a slap in the face for homelessness to exist in our country.
Yep.
It is a slap in our face for any child to go to sleep hungry at night in this country. It's a slap in the face. You know, Anthony, you were talking about, you know, the process of what you and your brothers did. And I'm sure you know, people hear Black people talk about things like mayonnaise sandwiches or butter sandwiches, and they look at us like syrup, and they look at us like we're joking or we're just, no, that's quite literal. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
It's literal that, and in food deserts, people don't understand. Last year, we're working, and I'm working with the governor of Mississippi. Anyway, I don't want to talk about him, but we're working with people and we're building low-income housing. Yep. But also in that process, we're building supermarkets in those areas because people don't understand what a food desert is. Yep. They think because you can go to the local convenience store and they got some bananas that's been in there for 6 weeks that it's not a food desert. Yep. Or you can buy some processed food. There are no supermarkets. People always act like eating healthy is cheap. Eating healthy is more expensive than eating at McDonald's. Yep. You know, this is what we have to take.
$6 a burger.
Exactly. Exactly. And then the starch is so prevalent. The starches are cheap. Protein is expensive. Yep. Getting foods that don't have pesticides as a part of their genetic structure is expensive. So when we talk about these things, we have to understand that just because you can go down to the 7-Eleven and buy a bunch of honey buns does not mean you do not live in a food desert. And some of these people don't even understand that they live in a food desert. Yep. If you have to travel more than 2 miles away from your home to get to a supermarket, you live in a food desert.
Yep. And not just
you live in a food desert.
Yep, and not just that, but we've also, and see, that's why I'm gonna give you guys. I've never really said, you know, what happened when I started, but you know, fridges are popping up all over the world. You know, of course, it started in the UK, and then it caught on here like fire with the pandemic. These community fridges depend upon mutual aid. Where there is no damn aid in Inglewood, they're broke. The fridges are empty.
Empty.
And so for me, I kept getting pushback because I told my team we're gonna fill our fridge every goddamn day. Every day. I wake up every morning and I go shopping for the fridge every day. And the menu is resident curated because they're gonna get what they want. And they're gonna get the best of it. And I'm gonna show it every day because I'm going to prove to you that it takes the same amount of money, the same amount of energy, the same amount of commitment to feed these people quality instead of opening up an empty goddamn fridge as a white person and patting yourself on the back because you want Black people to be appreciative of it. And so for me, when I opened it, I said, this is not like every other fridge because this one will be filled. They will not leave an empty fridge in their home and come outside and see a damn empty fridge on the curb.
Right.
And so because of it, our entire model changed because I said, I'm not scaling from 1 fridge to 10 fridges. I'm not. Why? Because it lacks ownership. If I see that our people have been butchered and they've pillaged all of our resources, why would I scale from 1 fridge to 10 fridges when I have no ownership say in where the fridge goes? No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pandemic proof my scaling model so that instead of 1 fridge, we're going to keep that 1 fridge because I love it. I'm going to fill that damn fridge every day till I die. But also we're going to do dream delivery so we get directly to the people, no middlemen. And since it's my goddamn money, can't nobody tell me what to do.
That's it. And there you hit a net. People ask me why all the time. Why don't you do this? Why don't you take this? Why do you do small donations? I do small donations because I am not. I tell people, if you're donating to me because you think you're going to tell me how to use the money, I need you to go somewhere else, because this is the community I live in.
Yep.
I am out there with them and talking to them about what they need. And what they need is what I provide. And if you're going to tell me what you think they need from 2,000 miles away, keep your money. I don't need it. And we need to take that, like you say, that ownership. And that's why I say we break it down and we do it on a community by community basis, because there are people on the street like us who interact with those people who need that interaction. And like say, you might need more protein than I need because we have access to some protein. We need more vegetables. Or you might not have as many women as I have in your community. I need feminine hygiene products. This is what we have to take into account. And we have to get away from this large idea of we need 100,000 people to make a change. I need 10 good people.
That's it.
I need 10 good people.
Committed
10 good people.
Committed people.
That's it. That's it. I can feed my whole community every day with 10 good people. That leaves me 3 left over just in case one of the others gets sick on a day, right? And every day we take it upon ourselves to deliver a healthy, protein-filled meal. And we take it upon ourselves to do that. Is it hard? Yes, but hey, I didn't sign up for it because it was easy. I could do anything that's easy, but you're making that difference when you also watch these people transition out of homelessness into helping you help others. That is one of the things I said, because I went out and a young lady was telling me about the stimulus. You
better go, boy. You better go.
A young lady was telling me about the stimulus package and the checks that were available to people who happen to be homeless. You know what I did? I filled my truck up and I took them to the taxpayers, and I paid that $25 a piece to file their taxes so they would be eligible for a stimulus pack. And people are like, oh, they're gonna pay you back. I'm not looking for them to pay me back. I'm looking for you to pay it forward. It's like you tell me, it's not my job to monitor what you do with your finances, right? It's not my job. It's about presenting the opportunity for you to help yourself. I'm not saving anybody. That's another people like, oh, you're saving the home. No, I'm not saving those who happen to be homeless. I'm providing them with the opportunity to save themselves. That society should be ashamed of itself for not providing. Go ahead.
Let me ask both of y'all a question. I want you all to speak to this because I think this is a very powerful sentiment that a lot of people get kind of held up on, right? So I'm sure when both of you started, and Dion, I think you talked about it a little bit earlier, there were some contentions that you got from other people. How did you push past those contentions to continue doing what it is that you're still doing?
So, and it's funny because I'm extremely happy that T. Nathan has a place in Chicago, because he knows about Inglewood. Okay.
Yeah.
And this ain't a game. And I had a big meeting with everybody, and every time I meet somebody, you know what I tell them? I say, I'm Dion. This is my organization, and I'm the same person tomorrow, every single day. Because here's the thing: the only way you can calm contention and fears is with consistency, so that people can get used to you. Just like I told you, just like I tell everybody else. When I ride up to my fridge and people aren't surprised to see me, that feels good. That means that I've become a part of their life. And that is the only way you can really, truly embed yourself and make a change. And so that, exactly what T. Nathan said, when I had a meeting with a foundation last week, and this is total transparency, they're looking to give us additional funding. And we've been kicking ass. And so, their finance person asked me this, and it is extremely important because that us three are who we are in public and in private, because they're going to try us. They're going to try us.
Yep.
And he said, okay, well, we see this, and we see that you're going to scale up dream deliveries, to infinity. What about fleshing out your board? And how many volunteers do you have? Oh, and I'm about to speak on what T just said. I said, It's me, my wife, and a colleague of mine that's on my board. There is no data that shows a direct correlation of successful nonprofit operations to fleshing out your board. I'm not about to prostitute my board so that I have to go through 90 people that's going to kick me out my own thing that I built when I know what it means to be in the struggle. And furthermore, I'm going to let you know this right now. I don't depend on volunteers because you can't scale a model that is dependent upon volunteers. You're trying to trap me, but also I'm paying people for their time. We don't do that.
Sir.
And so when it comes to that contention, it goes back to those values. And the good thing about people, just like I told you, I said, remember, the contention won't last if your heart is pure. Because if your heart is pure, you're going to see an ally and you're going to be so excited that somebody is matching your damn veracity that you go feel like you can go beat up fucking Batman. You're not going to focus on me. You're going to be like, man, are you ready? Let's go. And so when it comes to contention, it does not exist in my world. The only thing that exists in my world is me, the people that help me, and the people that we help. That's it.
Oh, that's it. And gummy worm. But anyway, and that's the same thing. Yeah. Anthony, this is why I didn't want to buy candy the other day, because I could be eating it constantly. But this is the thing, right? Like he says, and Anthony, you know, people will contact other people that you know about you. People will contact people you know and try to turn them against you because they realize they can't interfere with what you're doing.
Yep.
You know, people are always quick. Oh, you served 22 months in prison. These are the same people that supported a man that released 76 people from prison before their sentences was over. But when a black man is doing something positive in his community, we could literally save the universe. And that's a reference to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hey. And we couldn't go down to the bank and get a loan. We are expected to save the universe and be okay with being treated as second-class citizens. So this is what it does for us, though. Once those of us who wake up and realize that, it's nothing you can say.
Nothing.
My mother told me I went to prison and I was so ashamed and embarrassed. And I was talking to my mother about how much of a disappointment I was. And Anthony, I saw your video, and you know that sentiment is mine too. When I say I want to live a life that when I get on the other side of the veil, the ancestors, not anybody here, but the ancestors say, well done, we are proud of you. Come have a seat at the table with us, right?
Thanks.
So when you spend that time, and my mother told me, and I was embarrassed, and I was talking about you, she told me, you know what? She said, baby, I love you unconditional. You could be a serial killer, and I would still love you. And then,
but
when you ask, how do I deal?
Don't kill nobody.
Moving right along. But I can't. All bets are off on racist bigots and rocket raccoons. I'm sorry, I can't promise you that. But when you get that kind of unconditional love, you are insulated against people attempting to tear you down. Right. You are insulated because you actually realize that I'm doing what I do for the ancestors. I'm doing what I do because it is right. And regardless of what you say about it, is not going to change what I do. You know, it's nothing for me. And people will like say something like, well, why are you giving them credit? You're giving them clout. No, I'm just clowning them. I grew up playing the dozens. I grew up literally playing the dozens with people I love. You think it's nothing for me to clown somebody who I don't even like? No, it's nothing. And I don't care. They talk about, well, you're going to just give them clout and they're just getting clout off you. You mean a bunch of bigots are finding each other to follow each other? That's an ideal situation for me because now I know where all of you all are when I get ready to eviscerate you, right?
Yep.
And that's how I do with the haters and those who tear you down. They all get together. They trauma bond. I know people don't like it when I say that. They trauma bond over the trauma that your goodness is causing them.
Yep.
And I'm here for it. As a matter of fact, that makes me just buckle in and do better. Yep. I challenge myself. I challenge, you talk about volunteers. I volunteer, and I don't expect anybody out here tomorrow to be going to get supplies for those who happen to be homeless. I don't expect that. I go out here and I do it regardless. Yep. And if my story and what I do inspires others, so be it. I wish I could do that. But I don't get up in the morning thinking about, well, I wonder if I'm going to inspire others. It's just like, you know, you do the videos. I do the videos. I don't show people's faces. I don't show people's addresses. I don't show any of that. I just show the idea that if you want to know where your money is going, here's the meal I cooked. Here's where I dropped it off as far as the people. But I'm not showing their faces because it is not my job to tell their story. And we have to realize that. If they elect to tell their story, that's one thing. I'm telling my story. And my story involves helping those save themselves who want to save themselves. So that contingency, I'm like you. I don't think about it because it doesn't touch me because I have been insulated against it. And as a Black man, I expect it. Like I say, we could save the universe. And tomorrow, we'll still be having trouble getting a loan at a bank. It's the same.
I think both of you just kind of spoke to something that I mean, we consistently have conversations about. And it's just simply about being unapologetic. When you know that you're on your path, I was trying to remember this quote. I'm a quote master. I love quotes, boy. The quote states that there's 2 very important days in our life.
Oh, you better not say my quote.
And most people think that it's the day you were born and the day you die.
You better say.
But really and truly, it's the day you were born and the day you figure out why.
Oh, I got no. I got one for you though. I got one for you. I got one. It's funny that there's parallels. Mine is the first one is the day you're born, the day you know you're given life, and the second one is when you realize you only have one.
I'm going to add to that. Because we all have synchronicity. Because the first one for me too is the day you're born.
Right.
And the second one is the day you start listening to the voice of the ancestors.
Oh my God. Look at that.
When you put all that together,
that's powerful.
That's it.
That's it.
It's like when you start to realize the ancestors never stopped talking to you, but you start to listen.
And you up
your
here.
life, your life changes.
The thing about it is, and it's just, oh my gosh, it's so when I tell you the universe shifts in ways that you can't even fathom. I remember I grew up in Philly, right? I'm stationed in Honolulu, Hawaii right now, but I remember I was walking downtown in Philly, right? And I was part of this organization called Philadelphia Youth Poetry Movement, right? And I was walking past a gentleman that happened to be homeless. And there was a voice that said to me, empty your pocket into this man's hand. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I got 2 tokens and a couple dollars to get home.
Yep.
Mind you, it was my birthday. I was going down for a workshop, and I'm like, I'm going to spend my birthday down, at the shop, with the homies. We're going to spit some poems. It's a great way to spend my birthday. So the voice kept saying, and now mind you, I'm arguing with I'm getting close. Yep. I see, I'm from Philly. It's too many homeless people. So I already know what's going to happen when I get close. So I'm arguing in my mind, like, empty my pocket. Are you serious? I only got 2. How am I gonna get home? I'm literally arguing in my mind. But as I was moving closer, right, the voice said, empty your pocket into his hand. So I'm like, oh, okay. Obedience is better than sacrifice, right?
Definitely.
So I do it. Boom. I empty my pocket into his hand. Give me a second. So you get it when you get up. So I said, okay, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I go to the workshop. I'm stressing. I go to the workshop. I finish out. The workshop's over. I leave. I'm walking down the street to the bus stop. No money, no tokens, not sure how I'm gonna get home, right? My homie's like, hey, yo, Ed. Well, they call me Tone. Hey, yo, Tone, come here. What I didn't know is that they had a party for me set up in the back. I got a couple envelopes.
Oh, yeah.
During that time. Guess what those envelopes had in them?
A way to get home.
They had a couple money, couple dollars in them. Guess
that
what
way to get home.
It was a store that sold tokens for me to get on that bus.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes we think in our minds when helping others, what's going to happen to me? But then I started to thinking over the course of my life, if I don't help them, what's going to happen to them?
Exactly.
Right.
It's always inward, outward, and not the other way around. And so I don't expect anything because what I'm receiving is already beautiful enough to suffice. And that's the thing. We create these moments, and these moments are the thing that's gonna live beyond us. And once you fully submit to that, and once you fully, prescribe to that way of living, it's so easy to kind of move forward. And I think, you're absolutely right. Not only is obedience better than sacrifice, but I told my mom that these actions are gonna reverberate in history, and I'm okay because I know they're gonna reverberate because those other people's actions and acts of kindness reverberated in me, and I remember it as a 5, 6, 7-year-old. I remember I tell people my story that stuck with me. That's your story for your birthday. My story was my mom is struggling through addiction, and we're moving and we're getting evicted. Well, 3rd grade or 4th grade is my time for everybody to come to my house after school. And so when they come, as we're walking up, we're getting evicted. And it's the worst feeling in the world. We're getting evicted,
Wow.
and everybody is there. And to this day, my friends Antoine, Mark, Paris, Gerard, like everybody, you know what happened that day? They moved everything over in the alley and we played basketball.
Wow.
And that moment alone, that showed me that what you think is there to break you will give you purpose. And once you walk in that purpose, you are operating at such a different frequency. Such, like, when I tell you that, like, nothing can encroach where I am right now. So much that is bubbling inside of me, and I feel like I gotta get this out. I have to, like, I feel like I am El Chapo and I'm the product. I gotta get it out.
Yes,
so
sir. Yes, sir.
It's so much so that I can be in that moment and not think outside of it. So when you tell me, man, I'm kind of out of it, I get you right back in. Why? Because
yes,
I know that is my gift. I know that I can speak life. I know that I went through everything. And then when I got out the Navy and I was homeless, and me and my wife was going through, and my mom got cancer, I went through all of this so that now nothing can come and knock me off the path that I'm on. The only thing that it did was it showed me which tool I got to grab off my tool belt.
Facts. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
That is it. It is about understanding, and that's a very important thing. I tell you, I travel through life, and in our blackness, people are intimidated by it. And I tell people like this: a lion has teeth and fangs for a reason. Yep. I'm not taking my teeth or my fangs out to make you comfortable. Yep. It is about knowing what tool is required for what job. You just hit it so succinctly. A lot of us pass by tools saying, I'll never need that tool in life. The idea is I'll pick every one of them up because you know what I have? I have the space to carry them. And it's better to have a tool and not need it than to get to a situation or point in your life where you have passed the tool by that you did need, and it's nobody's fault but your own. And you know the stories you relate about giving. And, you know, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've ever given everything I had away because it would be hard to do. And I acknowledge that. But the idea is there have been many situations where you have said that I will be okay. What can I do to assist you?
Yep.
I will be okay. And it's not even a matter of being somebody's savior. It's about knowing that I have picked up these tools along the way. I can get home. I can pick up the phone and call somebody and they're coming to get me. But you don't even have a phone.
Yep.
So what am I got $50 in my pocket. Here you go.
Yep.
Here you go. Well, what about what you're going to do? No. I'm good because I still have this phone. I still have people that I can reach out to. Yep. I want to be that person you can reach out to. Yep. I want to be that person that assists you in helping yourself. Because then you get people that ask, well, have you ever regretted anything you gave away? Or did you think you might have gave something away to somebody who didn't need it? Or maybe they were going to get some alcohol and all that. You understand, I spend $160 on tents that I take to people and I give to them. Whatever they do with that tent is on them. If I don't see the tent the next time I come by, you know what I don't ask? I don't ask what the tent is. Exactly. I hand you a plate. I hand you a plate. Because just like every day as human beings, we run into things that we must make decisions about how we must deal with. Everybody runs into those things. And that's how you master it. It's like no one tells me how to spend my money. So what the hell I look like telling somebody else how to spend theirs? And we just have to get away from this ideological shift. It's the same thing when you look at these commercials about Abukalon or Africa, and you have they always find these villages and where the children run around barefooted and want to talk about hunger and giving and all this. No one called for you. Nobody called for you. You're doing this to make yourself feel good. And you're not even doing anything substantial. It's just like the video we did on the little white girl, and she was holding the baby on the beach, and everybody was like, oh, you should adopt him. Oh, who said this little baby didn't have any parents? Who said that? It's the mentality that we get into, believing that we are responsible for saving people. Instead of saying, how can I assist you if you need it in saving yourself? And that's what we need to start doing.
That's powerful. I want to conclude on this because we've been running a little bit over an hour. I want to conclude on this. How important, and I want both of you to speak to this, is it to build your team purposefully when going after your passion?
Oh, I got something for you. Oh yeah. So I'm a answer an angle of that, and I'll tell you this. My number one piece of advice when it comes to building your team is if you only got 7 seats at the table, stop going into every year with those 7 seats filled. Because what I chose to do is when I drew my line in the sand, when I started my nonprofit, I sent everybody in my phone a message saying I need reoccurring donations for my nonprofit to thrive. And when I did that, I knew a lot of people was going to look at it and not respond. But that line in the sand is still there to this day, and it's almost a year later. And so what it did was I didn't fill my team and my table up with people that didn't want to be there. And because of it, now every day as I'm moving toward my ultimate, plateau and my ultimate calling, it's so much easier to go there without pulling their weight. Ain't nobody gonna be kept that don't want to be kept. And that's in every area of our lives. And so when it comes to being a great person, you cannot, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let T talk. You cannot be a great person surrounded by evil people.
And you asked me why I don't make promises. See, and that is it. Everybody knows my it's so new that I was on the board of a company of a organization called Mississippi Rising, nonprofit. I was on the board, and even when I got on the board, and we were about removing the Confederate flag from the state of Mississippi and all that, so people know the fallout that I was removed from the board because these good white folks found out I had a record that nobody asked me about prior to asking me to be on the board, right? And that taught me something. I left the board, but I was the one doing the work. So when you say, how do I fill my boards or how do I find people? As long as you're doing the work, you're on my team. I don't care who you are. You're on my team. When you're not doing the work, you're not on my team. I don't fill the board. The board fills itself. When you show up and you want to do the work, you're going to get a position because you're going to claim that position. You're not taking the position for people to give you accolades. You're taking the position because you're claiming that position, and you're claiming that position for as long as you can do the work. Yeah. And there's and I don't only want you not to stay on my board. I want you to leave, go somewhere else, and start your own board with that same energy. Yeah. I want you to use this as a stepping stone to do greater things. I am Apocalypse. I am helping you to evolve into the next stage to continue fighting on a battle that we have not evolved to fight. Yeah. And that is what it's about. It's not a me. People always look at you, it's like, well, you do this and you do this, or you want to do this. That's not about me. I tell people all the time, I am just the messenger. I am not the message. You don't have to like me. You know, people, oh, you did this. You don't even have to like me. Guess what? The message is still the same. You do not have to like it. And that's why I say, you know, when you ask that question, I think I surround myself with people who voluntarily want to be there, not people that are trying to impress me to be there. They're there because this is who they are. It's like Anthony and I use Anthony and Doc, and I use you all because we are drawn together because of who we are, not because who the other person is. We are drawn together because we are individually, just like people talk about the fold, and it's like, you don't understand. The fold is full of individuals. We're not groupies. We were doing this before the fold, and if the fold disappears tomorrow, we are still going to be doing the work we are doing. Yes, we come together and we are greater together. But never let it be understood, not be understood, that regardless of that fact, the work needs to be done. And we is like one thing about President Obama is like one of the quotes is, we are the people we asked for. So let's start being them. We, you know, you sit around and people are like, oh, how do we solve this? How do you solve this? So I show up and I say, this is how we solve it. And I don't even tell them. I just start doing the work. Now, if you want to solve it, you don't follow me. I want you to work to get ahead of me. You know, I'm not. We have filled these positions for too long with people in their egos that want to be. They want to be leaders. True leaders are just leaders. They don't want to be. They don't need to be. They are just leading. I just look up and I am just going in the door. I don't put out no poster boards. I don't ask for volunteers or help. I just started to go in a different direction. And if you like the direction I'm going in, you're welcome to join me on that journey for as long as you would like, because I'm going this way. If you like that, let's get it. And you don't even have to go to the same destination. You might decide to branch off and go in your own direction along the way. I want you to take everything you've learned from our journey and blaze another trail. Because at the end of the day, the bigger issue to me is helping those in need. It's not about my name being recognized. And like Anthony said from the beginning, you talk about what you see me do is just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just enough to inspire you to do something. But every day I do something. Every day.
And then, wow.
I'm eating a gummy.
This has been this has been such a powerful conversation, man. I'm so grateful for you all. I'm so grateful for the vibrations that brought us together. You know, and I truly do believe that when you are walking the path that the ancestors have set forth for you, you are going to meet people along the way, along that journey, Dion, that you spoke about, that are going to assist you in your travels. And then I talk a lot about reciprocity, to whereby it's not just beneficial for one person, it's mutually beneficial, so that we can mutually assist in helping those that are in need. And regardless of what that need is, and figuring out how best and how masterful we can work together to build a sustainable platform, and then utilize our resources to come together to put that out, so that those that didn't know, now you know. And Nathan, I think you hit the nail on the head. If you don't want to come along, you ain't got to come. And Dion, you said it best. If you don't want to be here, you ain't got to be here. I want people here that are willing to show up early and leave late. Those are the type of people I want on my team. The ones that, in the face of adversity, they're not going to fold immediately. They're going to say, you know what? I have the wherewithal. Let me persevere through this. And if I can't persevere through this, let me reach out to those that I've been working so diligently with to gain. Nathan, I called him yesterday. You know, we were having a conversation. Dion, we had a conversation yesterday as well. I needed a certain amount of edification, but I needed to know, was I tripping? You know what I'm saying? There are sometimes where we have these ideas of giving up, letting go, allowing people to take hold of our platforms, when really and truly, we just need that one person to be like, nah, man, you good. Nah, man, you good, because we're human. We're human. You know what I mean? So, Dion, let them know where
I'm not. I'm not.
You're definitely an alien today.
Yeah, I'm a mute. And now I'm a mutant alien at that. Okay.
let them know where they can find y'all at. What's your socials?
Social is at DionChicagoDream on TikTok and Instagram. Facebook is just DionChicagoDream. Website DionChicagoDream. See, I knew it was gonna be big, so I just started securing all of that IP.
There we go.
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. Right? T. Nathan, put T Nathan Lokias in any social media, and you're gonna find me, right?
Yep.
Instagram, TikTok. I don't do Facebook unless I absolutely have to.
Or I gotta
But
send you a nerf on Messenger.
yeah, that's why you got to get me on Messenger. But if there's work to be done, I'm probably a part of it some way, shape, or form. And that's what it is. And that's how you find me. Like I say, you look up, I'll be there.
Make sure you hit that that subscribe button, like, and definitely share it with some friends. And if you know someone that has a platform that is doing positive things out in the community, for those of you that are listening, feel free to reach out to me. My Instagram DMs are always open. I speak 1906. As you see here, my first name is Anthony, by the way. It's on my YouTube platform as well as on my TikTok as well. And if you Google me, you'll be able to find all,
Google? Did you say Google?
Man,
Google me. Don't. Yeah, and if you Google me and you see the mugshot, just scream past me, right?
Yeah.
There's more stuff there besides the mugshot,
Keep
right?
scrolling. Keep scrolling.
Okay. Keep scrolling. So,
but if you want to, read that too.
There we go. Dion, thank you so much for pulling up, man. T. Nathan, as always, it's always a pleasure. Thank y'all so much. Again, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button, share this with some friends. And again, I want to make sure I mention this as well. If you have someone that's out in the community, give me a second. If you have someone out in the community that is doing positive work that does not have the platform, we got the platform. We want to put them in front of people. We want to talk to them. We're going to vet them, of course.
Oh, gotcha.
But we want to put them into a position that they can win and that they can broaden their scope of their platform. Make sure you like, share, mash that subscribe button. Y'all be easy.
Peace.